Right.
I don't want to know the name of this movie now because that would bum me out because I like making up all these names. But maybe
I like Foster the People, the soccer movie. And it's all about foster kids banding together to make a team. And so the coach adopts them all, but not for virtuous reasons, so he can have a award-winning co-ed varsity soccer team.
That sounds like Sam Rockwell.
Oh, 100% Sam Rockwell's in that. And Dennis Quaid would play the principal of the university that they're like the headmaster of the university they're trying to get into.
You know that Sam Rockwell's in a basketball movie, a low-budget basketball movie where he coaches a girls' basketball team with Rooney Mara.
I've seen that.
I think Emma Roberts is in it.
Yep.
But I watched it. It's not bad. I think it's the winning season.
Yeah, no, I definitely watched that. I got into a Sam Rockwell kick after I watched The Search for One-Eyed Jimmy.
Were you dancing? The one-eyed kick? That sounds like a Sam Rockwell kick. Sounds like his patented dance move.
Well, yes, but have you seen The Search for One-Eyed Jimmy?
No, I have not. I've never heard of that.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna read you the cast list of this movie, and you're gonna. It's on Tubi TV.
Tubi, yeah.
Yeah. I got it actually in my stocking one year for Christmas in 1998 on VHS. So it was made in 1994. It was a low-budget movie called The Search for One-Eyed Jimmy. But here's the cast. Are you ready?
Yeah.
The cast is Nicholas Turturro, Steve Buscemi, Samuel L. Jackson, John Turturro, Tawny Sunko, Jennifer Beals. There's Sam Rockwell's in it. Like, it just keeps going, and it's just all these guys that were just about to break through things in that moment. And the whole thing is they're looking for this guy named One-Eyed Jimmy who got lost, and they think he's got kidnapped. And so, like, they're all playing these really weird characters. And Sam Rockwell is the Search for One-Eyed Jimmy. And at the end of the movie, it turns out he got locked in the laundry room downstairs. So I was just like blown away by that. So I went down a deep, dark Sam Rockwell like hole the other day, and I ended up at this like basketball movie.
You need to watch Safe Men with him and Steve Zahn and Paul Giamatti.
Steve Zahn, man, that guy is in my Mount Rushmore of unsung heroes of film.
And Mark Ruffalo with a mustache, and they always say "sweet stash." He goes, "Thanks," and they go, "Sweet stash." He goes, "Thanks, bro," in a very Mark Ruffalo way. And and in the movie, Sam Rockwell wears butt enhancers to make his butt seem bigger. And there are a bunch of horrible performing artists who get confused for thieves, but then they get in trouble with this guy named Big Fat Bernie, and then they have his son, Little Big Fat, and then this guy Paul Giamatti works for him, and they call him Veal Chop, and he always wears hockey jerseys and hammer pants.
Oh yeah, I'm down with this.
You gotta see this. It's one of my favorites, man. Hey,
that's so good.
So what do you think?
So cinematic dragons.
Yeah.
I'll say one that terrified me as a child in the late 80s. It was in the era of ABC and NBC miniseries, but there was a made-for-TV miniseries of Through the Looking Glass, Alice in Wonderland. And there was a Jabberwocky dragon that tried to come through the mirror at the end. That was terrifying.
What's a Jabberwocky?
I think it's a dragon.
Got it.
I know some people like hold the Wonderland Jabberwocky Through the Looking Glass like book and canon as like the greatest thing ever written. I think it's just really a bunch of nonsense, but it's fun to watch. But other than that, there isn't really great cinematic dragons of the 80s and 90s.
I don't think so. I mean, I'm sure someone's pulling their hair out yelling, but I can't think of any. So these dragons,
let us know.
Yeah.
If you're screaming at us right now, just let us know what dragons you think about.
So this movie had a much lower budget than the second Harry Potter, and I know that's like an obelisk, not an obelisk. That's a shoot. Come on, Mark.
An obelisk.
I mean that's a statue from Egypt. You know, I was actually just in Italy, and in Rome they stole a bunch of them. So I went and took pictures of all. Yeah, there's a bunch of obelisks around Rome that they just stole from Egypt. But it's not technically a dragon. In the second Harry Potter, it's, is that what do they call it? Like the big long snake thing? Yeah,
it's a dragon. Like let's be fair, it's just a dragon.
Basilisk.
Yes.
It doesn't look as good as these, and that movie had 3 times the budget.
Yeah, But that's because they had to pay Radcliffe at that point in time.
Yeah, he was in the second movie. He had like 3 trailers. But no, like all right, so I know we're really jumping ahead to the end, but I love this dragon. Okay. All right. Can we just talk about is this dragon immortal?
I'm going to say yes, both physically in this world and in my heart.
Because it's been sleeping for millions of years.
Right. And I'm also going to say by the end of this movie, I was kind of rooting for the dragon.
Yeah, I mean, but were you? Because it has a horrible I think it killed the dinosaurs, wiped everything off the planet. It's like, I'm going to sleep. And then it wipes everything off the planet and then sleeps. Correct?
Yeah. But here's the thing, Mark. I'm going to get real philosophical for you on this one. Did this dragon, like, will itself into existence, or is it just it is? It exists. It's not its fault that it exists. And he sleeps for a long time, which means he only does the bare minimum of what he needs to survive.
Yeah.
Wouldn't anybody ask that? He's not terrorizing things just for the sake of terrorizing things. He's just doing the bare minimum to survive, and I think that any one of us would do the very, very same thing. I would argue that in this movie, these humans are doing everything they can do just to survive. It's just we relate to them better. The story's told through their eyes. But this dragon, he's just getting nothing but hate for just doing it. He sleeps for so long. He's like, what do you want from me, people?
Yeah, I'll go back to sleep for millions of years again. Just do your thing.
Yeah. I'm just going to spray some fire on some eggs and call it a day.
If you think about it, too, Christian Bale told a story about these people who went out and killed a dragon, and then the male followed it back and wiped them all out. Well, that sounds like a good father.
Yeah, no, I would do that. Like my wife and I always not joke, but we have sometimes a warped sense of humor. But, when we first got married, you're like, what would you do if I ever, was murdered or something? And I'm like, just watch Dolph Lundgren in his Punisher movie. That's what I would do. I would live in the sewer. I would talk to Louis Gossett Jr. and I would just have revenge. That's what I would do. And so I think that's what this dragon's doing. He's just being Dolph Lundgren in the 80s Punisher movie.
Yeah.
And we can't argue with that.
Yeah. And, one of his buddies was killed and they left the body on their doorstep. And Christian Bale's like, they don't like it. Well, dragon.
Of course not.
Yeah, exactly. And this dragon season's like, okay, well, I'm going to blow fire. I'm going to wait for you all to come back out, go outside because you think I'm gone. And then I'm going to blow fire again and kill Jerry Butler.
Right. And here's the other thing. And this is the logic that I'm going with. In the first, garden raid where he burns and they're leaving in the trucks and Jerry Butler says he doesn't even care about us. He just wants the ash. Yeah. Give these dragons some ash. Give them stuff to burn, feed them. Instead of growing gardens, just throw them all your way so they can burn it and eat the ash. You can learn to live in a symbiotic society with something if you try, but they're not. I don't know. I just think this could have gone, if they were a little bit smarter, it would be a different situation from the get-go.
Because he did say they just want the ash.
They just want the ash.
They're eating ash?
Yeah, they're eating ash. We can give you things to burn. We have renewable resources that we can give you. All the ash you want.
Yep.
But also, I want to go back to the first scene of this movie. Why is that kid,
so sassy?
Young Christian Bale, well, yes, but also allowed to just free roam around a drilling work site?
Yeah, he's everywhere. And he's sassy to everybody, and I didn't like it.
No, and they're like, oh, hey, how's it going? Hey, and it's like, this is like an 8-year-old kid walking around this deep sea underground drilling operation, and nobody seems to care. That I was yelling at my TV. Remember in Clerks where the gag was he's gonna get stuck in the escalator. I felt like that. I was like, someone get that kid away from the drilling site.
I mean, and he didn't have a hard hat. He's not probably insured. No. If I was the insurance company,
he's not wearing steel-toe boots.
If I was the insurance company, I would not allow this sassy kid who just makes comments. I wouldn't want to hang out with this kid because everything that came out of his mouth was a comment. She's like, have you been out drinking? No, I've been smoking. Hey, what are you doing here? Well, someone's got to make up for you. I'd be like, you're exhausting, kid. Just speak to me like a human.
Yeah, just be friendly for 30 seconds. And We say that to our kids when they give a little bit of sass. We're like, hold on, you can say that in a friendly way. And then they're like, oh, I'm sorry, Dad. And they'll say it in a friendly way. But there was no parenting going on with this kid. And there was no shortage of adults around. They were just all choosing to like, let's see how messed up we can make this kid. And, and then they get Christian Bale. We all know how crazy and messed up that guy is.
Yeah, but I kind of want to know. I think a good book would be how he survived it.
Yeah.
To where he got.
Right? Like the teeny bop divergent version of this movie, which tells about a young teenage Christian Bale and how he met his wife and had a kid. Like that's the story that we could really sell.
The new YA movie with a young digitally enhanced Christian Bale.
And we'll call it Steel Dragons.
Oh man. All right, so how about this? We got to write this script now before anybody steals it from it. So we're going to write this script, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about more Reign of Fire. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks. And we came into a small problem, Adam. And that Steel Dragon is actually the band of Mark Wahlberg's band. Wait, yeah. Is the name of Mark Wahlberg's band in the movie Rockstar? Steel Dragon.
But I think how we can work around that is we would spell it STEAL, dragons. And it's about these two young lovers stealing moments away from a world infested by dragons.
It's about the quiet moments away?
Yeah. Like, there isn't a dragon in the whole movie. They just talk. They just talk about them. Well, and, like, they
hear whooshing over their house.
Right.
And
the whole movie is shot.
They have to put out a fire.
The whole movie is shot underground in real time. And it's their first date.
So it's basically before sunset. It's before sunrise. But underground and with dragons.
But you don't see the dragons.
And Linklater needs to get on this.
Oh, yeah.
It's just them traversing in the London Underground?
Yeah, 100%. Well, listening to The Clash.
London Call.
Right. This would be amazing.
Just over and over, jamming out on their Zune.
Right. And we would get Gordon Levitt. He would play a young Christian Bale as a harkening back to like the Robin Batman relationship that they kind of have.
Oh my! And then who would be good as the actress is Imogen Poots.
Okay, I can get behind that.
She's in Fright Night, Green Room, Need for Speed. The thing about her is if you watch any movie with her, no matter who she acts alongside, she just has chemistry with it. She could have chemistry with a Pet Rock. So even if her and JGL don't blend, she could just really sell it.
Yeah, no, and exactly. And that's all you need is someone who can commit to this thing.
And JGL needs to be speaking like a chimney sweep.
And I think this would be a more grounded version of this Grounded Dragon movie where we don't show any dragons at all. It's just like, some days you don't see a dragon.
Yeah, because sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're out attacking Manchester.
Yeah.
They're not in London.
No.
And they're eating a sheep in Scotland.
Eating sheep in Scotland.
Oh, wait. Oh.
My goodness.
That'd be a good movie. Eating sheep in Scotland. That's a sequel.
Well, so I think the key to the Reign franchise is just like multiple venues. So I think that like the young adult romance will be a movie. Like that'll be a good date movie. I think Eating Sheep in Scotland is the YouTube Red TV series.
Yep.
I think Jerry Butler's story about how
that's his story.
How that's because he's the shepherd that he's a Star Wars fan. He loves the wars, and so he would be out in the field just talking to the sheep about Star Wars because this is back in like, a time when fandom wasn't embraced like it is now. So he was a Star Wars nerd, if you will, when he was in high school. So he had no date. So he was just out with the sheep talking to them about the wars. And then, it was his knowledge about the Star Wars universe and how those things that gave him the cunning to survive in a world full of dragons.
There's a 30-minute scene where he's just putting moss and leaves on top of the sheep to camouflage them. And while he's talking about Star Wars.
Exactly.
Just camouflaging sheep.
Right.
That would be, so he just has to take sheep across Scotland. It's like Children of Men. He has to deliver that woman.
Right.